Hey everybody, time for another using Emacs video. It's about time, I think, that we talk a little bit about Emacs and email. So I've been meaning to do this for a while, and one of the reasons that I haven't is because I wanted to clear up some things with my email configuration. Two, I wanted to, it was kind of complicated, I felt it was complicated, and three, I wasn't super comfortable with, there's some stuff that I have in my configuration that's kind of boilerplate that I got from somewhere else that I don't really know all the internals of, and I'm not super comfortable making a video with that, but I decided, what the hell, let's do it, let's get this out there. Part of the reason is because I decided, to simplify how I'm handling email and also switch over from using offline IMAP to MBSync, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So what I had in the past is, like most people, I have a whole bunch of email addresses, but there were really three email addresses that I would use for the most. One is my personal email account, and I use Gmail for that. One is for my nonprofit, and that also goes to a different Gmail account. And my third is my work email, which is Hunter College. Now, the personal one I decided just to leave on Gmail, at least for the time being, and I wanted to do my nonprofits and my work email and do those through Emacs, and I was playing with that for a while, but I decided just a couple of days ago that my nonprofit stuff is pretty low traffic, and it's particularly low traffic going until it leads up to the summer program that we usually run, and leading into there's a lot more traffic because we have people applying and getting information, and during the program it's higher traffic, but during the rest of the year it's pretty quiet. And so what I decided is, let me switch over to MBSync, and again I'll talk about that in a second, and let me just do one account's email on Emacs, let me get that all going, let me make a video about it, and then I'll go back and see about adding other accounts. So when you're doing Emacs, when you're doing email on Emacs, there are actually multiple steps. The first step is you have to bring your email, get your email from your server. I'm assuming that you're not your own email server, but even if so, you still have to do some work there. Getting it from your server onto your machine, and then you need to be able to work with the email from your machine. So the first step is that pulling down stage, and the way I used to do it is with something called offline IMAP. Where am I? I don't even know where. Okay, let me click here, let me go offline IMAP, and offline IMAP works and it pulls everything down, but I wasn't happy with it. It was just kind of slow, and I get these weird errors sometimes about non-unique IDs, maybe because I do this in multiple locations, I don't know, but it was a little clunky and slow, and so I wanted to try to figure out how to move over to MBSync. And ultimately what I found is I found this website, or this blog post, Drowning in Email, mu4e to the rescue, and this is terrific. I mean, I kind of feel like I don't need to make this video in a way, because this is a really great, great blog post that really steps you through a lot of stuff. It's by this gentleman, Rob Stewart, who I do not know, but I just followed him on Twitter about 5 minutes ago, and I basically followed this through. So the first thing here, and I'll make this a little bigger, make sure everyone can read it. The first thing I did is I had to configure MBSync, which is what I wanted to download. So I didn't do this. I did the apt-get install. I actually didn't do this because it was already done. I then installed MBSync from Git. So I went to the Git page, I downloaded it, and I'm not going to go through the details of what I'm doing. I got a lot of extra windows here that I should probably clean up. Should have done this ahead of time, sorry about this. There's one. So I would go to, let's see, Dropbox, opt, and basically it involved running autogen.sh. I'm not going to run it now, I've already run it. Then running configure, then running make, and then sudo make install, and that set up MBSync on my system. I could not do this or actually it would have been iSync. This would install iSync and MBSync. It would install the package, but not with the SSL stuff or not with all the options that we need. So this did not work. I had to build it from source. But once I built it from source, then I just followed these instructions, and I just literally just followed this exactly. I created this temporary file, did this. The only difference is instead of storing it in this location, I moved some file names around or whatever, but basically I just followed this exactly, just changing some file names. And then I basically used this configuration as well, but I changed again the name. So here, IMAP account uni, I guess for university. So for me, it's IMAP account Hunter. Host mailexample.com. This is actually my Hunter server. I'm temporarily having this here because I just wanted to copy this over to my work machine, and this was an easy way to do it. My certificate file is different because on Linux Mint it's CA certificate CRT. But other than that, it's the same. I did put my maildir not. I think here he just does MBSync mail and the box. Here I'm making it maildir and then Hunter, and then that's because later I'll add maildir and CSTI for my nonprofit. But basically it's just copying of this, and then all I have to do to download my email is, and this is one minor change, if you look at this page here, it says you can just run the MBSync command. That doesn't quite work, or didn't quite work for me. If I just did this, it said no channel, so I would have to either do the channel Hunter or -A for all of them. And this downloads my email. It only did a few things here because I've done this before, but the first time I did this, it downloaded a whole bunch of emails. Now, I did have to first make directory maildir, and then I had to make directory maildir Hunter. I had to make these directories manually. If I didn't make these directories manually, things would not work. So I can actually show that. I'm just going to call this, let's just make these M. And if I do MBSync A, it gives me an error, no directory M Hunter. So if I make directory M, and then I try it again, no directory M Hunter. But now, why not? Oh, right. Move it to my root directory. So now we have M, and so now I do mbsync-a, and now it's doing its thing. I'm just going to stop it and get rid of it because we don't need it, and come back here and maildir. So anyway, that downloads my email, and every time I run MBSync, it's going to basically sync things up between my local machine and up on my server. Oh, and the other difference I have here is I use these patterns for my mailbox, and that's different from this installation over here where it's sent items, and deleted items. What I did is I just did a search on MBSync and Outlook because Hunter email uses Outlook, and I just grabbed those patterns for the default mailbox names. So that was stage one. And so that gave me all of, this is how I can sync things down. Now I have to be able to deal with my emails. So dealing with my emails is a little bit, is the next stage, and that's where we use mu4e, or more specifically mu, or, and where we have it here. So basically, we have the software here, and I'll put these links all up on the blog post. And where is, find a document, let's find the documentation here. A little small here. Now, so basically, let's see if we can hunt this down. I should have found this before. Sorry about this. There's the cheat sheet. Let's search for this. There we go. That should be it. So basically you have to install this, and what I did for installing it is I went to this page here, and I will then again I will link to this on the blog post. So I literally just followed these through. App get install, sudo app get install these. I didn't get Emacs because I already have Emacs. I did this app get install, this app get install. So I got all the Ubuntu dependencies. Then I did a git clone. So I just found git. I may have had to search for it independently. There's a link somewhere here. Again, I'll put it up on the blog post. But I actually had that. So that's here. So once again, I then just did, once I did all this, I just did the same thing as I did for MBSync. I did the autogen, then I did the configure, then I did the make, and again, I'm not doing this here, it's already been done, and then sudo make install. And so that basically installed mu. And mu4e, the Emacs part of it, and mu4e is over here underneath opt. Now I didn't check to see whether this is installable under Melpa or not, but I kind of like using this one here under my distribution because that way when I upgrade this whole package, everything comes new. So once it's installed, the first thing I have to do is index that, and I don't know why that's not, it's locked by something, so I think I'm probably running, yeah, I'm already running this. Let me just kill this all out, and there we go. And it indexes all of your email. And this mu, this is really a, you can use this from the command line, and it's really cool. It's got a bunch of commands you can use, and the most interesting one is, let's see if it gets here, is we can do like contact find, cfind. I don't know if I've searched for, I may not have emailed my wife under this account. Yeah, there, so that's her email. For contacts, I can do from Steve, get emails from people named Steve. That's so that's my brother. You can do mu find date 2017 12/23. Those are the emails that were sent and received yesterday. They're all from me because they were just test emails. Not a lot of email going on yesterday. All the stuff that have test, or I could say test. I want to find from Mike with test, etc. So you can do this really nice searching. So it's similar in a way to when you do searching from Gmail, but you're doing it within your own local mail directories, which is really kind of cool. So at this stage, we can pull our email down and we can search it from the command line. And there's other things we can do here as well. Like we can actually, well, let's just do that find again. I don't actually know how to do this from the command line directly, but you can actually pull out emails and stuff directly from the command line as well. You can extract attachments. You can, so you can do, you can view a specific email. Let's say help. Let's see what it says. Help view. Okay, that's not particularly helpful. All right, well, we'll just leave that for now. We'll go over to the main attraction, which is dealing with this from within Emacs. So to do that, we now have to set up mu4e or mu4e for Emacs. So let's take a look at the configuration for that. So this is my configuration file, and I don't actually do much in the real configuration file here. And this is all on, this part is on GitHub. So the first thing I do is notice I have load if exists Dropbox share and mu4e config. So I've offloaded my configuration from there, and I'm going to leave it there because it's somewhat in flux. I add a couple of hooks here just turning on the spelling correction, turning on the autofill. This part here is for I buffer, so I get my mu4e buffer separate, etc. And then just a little hotkey here to load it. So none of that's really important. Let's just go to the configuration file. And so here we have it. So notice that I have it pointing to that directory where I've downloaded the distribution. Then I require it. I require SMTP mail for sending mail. And all of this here is just configuration stuff that I found in the documentation and I found at various websites. If we go back to Rob's post, if I can find his configuration here, notice he has a similar deal here. A little bit different. Require SMTP mail, place where your mu4e is, setting a bunch of variables like here's where your mail server is. Again, a bunch of variables. So my variables was just a little bit different. So a bunch of variables here for setting things up for Hunter, more variables, stuff like set up the update interval, how often between checking for emails automatically. I'm not including a signature, show images, my downloads should go here. So that's all that. Then here we've got these shortcuts. So I can go to Hunter's inbox, Hunter's archive, and Hunter's sent items. Notice that I use my refile folder is archive. I'll talk about it in a minute as opposed to trash. I have some bookmarks here. I think these are just I just grabbed these from somewhere else, and we'll see these in a minute as well. Then I also have this thing down here, org mu4e, and so this allows me to deal with org. Well, again, I'll show you this. Org mime, and all of this stuff is stuff that I found online to be able to either look at emails more effectively or send emails more effectively, which I'll show you. So anyway, yeah, that's basically all of this. This stuff is for capturing org link set parameters mu4e. I'll show you how we do that as well. That's my configuration. So once you use this configuration, and again, some of this is black magic, some of this is just stuff I found elsewise, is now I can run mu4e, and I've bound it to control-1m, but I could also just run it just by running escape-x and mu4e. And so down here, we've got those bookmarks. But I don't really use these bookmarks. I use the, let's go to the other buffer. I use the shortcuts, not the bookmarks. So, I'll go back to here. So to do that, I will jump to the Hunter archive, and that's my Hunter archive. Or I will jump to my Hunter inbox. Or I can do search with S, and search is is cool because what I can do here is I can do the same types of searches, date 21/7/12/23, the exact same searches that I did from the command line, I can do here from within Emacs, and it's really cool because again, it's very similar to using Gmail. So now let's actually do a little mail thing here. Let's send an email. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to look like. 1, 2, 3. 1. I can't spell. I'm sure we can put other stuff in here as well. Let's send this. And what we will notice is this will eventually come in here. Hasn't come in yet. Well, it should come in. Well, this is because I'm also having the ability to send from. Whoops. I hope it comes through. I hope that Gmail doesn't say, oh, we are registered for that email address. That'll work. How can we we can fix this. We'll just send something. We'll send something to myself. I wonder if yeah, that should work here. So new message to mz631@hunter. You need you. Hello. We can do an attachment. Let's choose a file. That's a logo for a company from one of my former students, and so test email. Let us send that. It is there. So now you'll notice it's not here yet, but in 5 minutes it'll be here. But if I do Control C, Control U, that updates my email. Looks like both of them came through here. So this one, notice I have my attachment here. I can click on it, but I can also open the attachment using the keystrokes. That's really nice. Let's go to this one, and that's how that's formatting it. And notice down there I've got a link, so I can, go to the link. That's not going to work, but I can do G to go, and I can go to the URL, and that's where that link was, which just links over to my blog. So that's pretty cool. Now I can do other things here as well. I can delete these if I want with D, and that marks it for delete. If capital D, lowercase d marks it to go to trash. I don't usually use that. I use R, and it refiles it to archive, and it's kind of like, you know, deleting an email or archiving an email in Gmail. You can then search it and everything else. These are just test emails, so I'll just use capital D here. I can execute my marks, bang, I am done. I can also compose email, so I can say, you know, it has completion here, so to Michael Zemansky, I didn't want to, let's go to Zemansky@gmail.com, and I can say test, you know, send my email with Control C, Control C. Ooh, let's quit from that. Ooh, test, okay. But the other thing that I like that we can do is we can also compose an email, and let's say this is going to go to Zemansky@gmail. I don't know if I have this one here. Yeah, I do. And this will be test 2. But I can go to org mu4e compose org mode, and notice how that changed a little bit. And now I can write in org mode, so I can be like, you know, this is in org mode, and I can put my 1, 2, 3, you know, org mode table A, B, C, D, F, whatever. And then I can do something like source Python import random for I in range 10, print random range 110. You know, so I have my source code there. I always forget, is it results output, I think it is. Yeah, there we go, and exports both. And now here, okay, that's good. So now that all works. We can do the same thing with all sorts of other stuff, but if I can't send it from here. What I have to do, and this messed me up for a while. If I actually want to send this org mode email, I have to actually move up to the header, and then I can do the Control C, Control C. And it's sending my email, bang, there it goes. Let's go over to Gmail. Let's get rid of that test here. And there we go with the, you know, with the nicely formatted code and with the output in it. That's really cool. You can also do attachments. You can either do it with, you know, org attach, if I could spell right. And that's actually the wrong command, but you can also do it this way. Yeah, what is it? Control C, return F, or you can just link here, attach files, etc. So it's really full-featured, really cool. It does involve a little setup, but I'm very happy with this. The one thing that I haven't been able to do is I usually don't use the org mode email composition thing because I usually just use a text-based email. But when I do use it, I haven't been able to figure out how to do an attachment along with the org mode email. So if anyone knows that, that would be great to know. My plan moving forward is to make sure I'm happy with this. I really do like MBSync. It's really fast. And once this is stable for a couple of weeks, I'll see about adding my nonprofits email back to here. And then I may do another video on that. So I hope you enjoyed this. The code will be mostly put up on the blog post since this isn't in my GitHub repo, and I'll put links to both to to this stuff here from mu4e, to Rob's very, very helpful post about how to set all of this up, my configuration, etc. And that's about it. So yeah, I hope everyone's having a great holiday season, and I'll see you next time.